Welcome back, welcome back. Once again, it was a knockout week that wasn't in the US race for the Democratic nomination. Lose either Texas or Ohio, and Hillary is finished, we were told. But she won both of them, one of them very narrowly, leaving the contest between Clinton and Obama rolling on to Pennsylvania and probably beyond. It may be exciting to watch, but isn't the sight of battling Democrats just a gift to the Republican candidate, John McCain, who's confirmed now? Laura Schwartz is an experienced Democrat watcher and player, having worked for Hillary's husband when he ran the White House, and she's with us again now, which is a pleasure. Laura, what was your reaction to this week? Did it go as you expected?
Well, I was surprised by how much she won Ohio, but I thought that this would last. Hillary is in it to the end, which, as you said or mentioned, this could be tough on the Democrats if it gets too bloody. We don't want to give John McCain too much ammunition during this process, but it is a good process for the Democrats. We have states here voting in the primaries that never felt a part of it before. So this will go on. Wyoming this weekend, Mississippi next week, and then Pennsylvania, a very big and important contest on April 22nd.
And in terms, I know, obviously we know from your background and everything that you're a Clinton supporter and so on, but do you think either of the candidates, people seem to think not, either of the candidates can rack up enough of the delegates to get past the 50%
well, that's a very
plus
good
one?
Point. And although I worked in the Clinton administration for 8 years at the White House, I am not supporting either candidate. I'm remaining independent as a commentator this go-round. And it's very interesting. You've got Barack Obama, who 9 months ago was behind in the national polls and behind in the state polls. And then you've got Hillary Clinton, who was surging ahead. They sort of balanced out. And now you've got Barack Obama, at the end of this delegate count, coming off of 11 straight wins, ahead in the delegate count by about 100 delegates. Now, delegates are given according to the voters within each state. So he's ahead of these pledged delegates. And right now with the race as it is, Hillary would have to win by 70% the rest of the states to catch up to Barack Obama. So that means with what we have up to stake, Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton really have no chance of mathematically reaching the majority of delegates. But Barack Obama will be ahead at the end of the day, maybe by 40, maybe 50 delegates, which means this would go to the convention. And there's another group of delegates called super delegates. These are about 800 party officials, former presidents, so President Clinton's a super delegate, governors and senators and House members and so forth. They get to vote independent of the pledged delegates. So the question in America right now is, would those delegates vote to overturn the pledged delegates from the state, or will they vote with whoever has the most delegates at that point, which very well, right now, mathematically looks like it would be Barack Obama.
And what about the situation in terms of what comes next? Is it conceivable, do you think, that someone from outside the race currently could enter it if there was a deadlock like Al Gore? Is that possible?
No, it is possible. It is possible. Somebody could come up in a brokered convention and get a simple majority to become the nominee. But really, you nailed it. The only one that could do that would be former Vice President and now Nobel Peace Prize winner Al Gore. And I really believe that he wants to take the high road. He feels that he's doing more for this world in global warming and combating climate change by doing what he's doing now. So I really don't see him entering the race, but I could see him coming in at the last minute to sit down with Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama to convince them to do what is best for the Democratic Party.
And what about the basic problem of the battle we touched on earlier, the battle going on for the next few months? So far, Hillary has played it more hardball in attacking Obama than he has. He hasn't been provoked into attacking her in the same way. If they do go hammer and tongs, if he starts to respond to her attacks and so on, that's going to make it tougher for the Democrats, isn't it?
You're right, and the Republicans will sit by and smile because they'll do the job that they don't have to do yet. I think it's very important for both of these Democratic candidates going forward to stick to the issues, to talk about their varied solutions and how they will affect the voter. I think it's constructive to raise questions about experience, just as it's important for Barack Obama to raise questions about judgment. But as far as going too negative, blooding each other up, I think that should wait until the general election, and they need to stay above board, and whoever does not win needs to bow out with grace and dignity and throw their support to the other, because the Democratic Party has a real chance of winning this November, but they will only win if they move forward united and positive.
But if the situation is, as you say, one is bowing out because they've lost in the end, is there a conceivable chance that there would be a Obama-Clinton ticket or a Clinton-Obama ticket, or has too much water gone under the bridge?
Well, I think at the end of the day, everybody wants to win, and it's not so much that they're fighting each other, they're fighting the Republican Party. Now, I think that the basis of this is Hillary Clinton has allowed that rumor to float out there because adding Barack Obama as her vice president helps her. But Barack Obama would not really be helped by adding Hillary Clinton onto his ticket. It's because Hillary Clinton riles the Republican base in this country like no other. And she's run a very partisan campaign, and that will rile the Republicans, even those that aren't very happy with their nominee in John McCain, to get out there and vote against Hillary. So it's a very interesting equation. Obama would help add new voters and help add a unity portion of a ticket with Hillary. Hillary would most likely take away from Barack Obama. And as it stands right now, both Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, according to a poll out yesterday, would beat John McCain. Hillary would beat John McCain by 6 points. Barack Obama would beat John McCain by 12 points.
Well, there's no doubt about it, Laura. You get our vote as LA correspondent anytime. Thanks very much for being with us.
Well, glad to be with you. Look forward to being back.
And so to another American battle, but this time South American battle. This week has seen troop build-ups on Colombia's borders as both Venezuela's Hugo Chavez and Ecuador's Rafael Correa have sent forces in to threaten their neighbor. It all follows an incursion last week by Colombian troops killing a rebel leader sheltering inside Ecuador, a move which Venezuela and Ecuador describe as a war crime. Now, Colombian President Alvaro Uribe is asking the International Criminal Court to try President Chavez of Venezuela for sponsoring and financing genocide over his alleged links to the FARC guerrillas who threaten Colombia. So, is all of this just posturing, or is a war on the cards? Joining me now is Kate Parker from the Economist Intelligence Unit, who therefore knows exactly what's about to happen. Is there any prospect of war?
I think the possibility of war can't be discounted, but I think it's something that's very unlikely for the simple reason that it's not in anyone's interest to actually go to war. Venezuela and Ecuador have been the countries who have been most, who've been calling, pressing, raising the risk of war. I mean, if you just look at their armed forces, even combined, they're massively inferior to those of the Colombians.
Oh, are they? So even when you put them together?
To put them together, I think together they've got armed forces of about 170,000 compared to about 270,000 on the Colombian side, and also Colombian technology is much more advanced. They've been financed by the United States for many years. So this is not a war that, you know, if it came to war, that they would be able to win. Also, I think it's worth bearing in mind that that Chavez likes to posture, you know, to raise the risk of war, to detract from political problems he's having at home. So it's very much a tactic to detract from problems elsewhere.
And so you have a situation, though, at the moment where, as you would say, if there was a war, Colombia would win it. To avoid a war, what does Ecuador want, or what would it take? Would it take a grovelling apology and the gift of a subscription to Al Jazeera or something like that? What do they want?
I think Ecuador wants an apology, which I think it has partially got, but it also wants a recognition that that it's not acceptable for the Colombian forces to cross the border and to attack, you know, and to carry out attacks across the border in Ecuadorian territory. So the OAS, which is the Organization of American States, has sent a commission to investigate this, and I think Ecuador and Venezuela are both wanting it to condemn Colombia's actions. Whether it will do so is another matter. America is a key member of the OAS, and they're quite supportive of what Colombia has done. So it's a very divisive issue, but tensions are raised, and I think the problem is that all the diplomats have been withdrawn or expelled. So there's no one there to really mediate the crisis. So yeah, there is a possibility of war because tensions are so raised, and there's a lack of personnel.
Although in some ways it seems like a storm in a teacup, and probably the right form of apology would deal with it, there's still as you said at the beginning, a smidgen of possibility of war.
There is a possibility, yes.
But they would blunder into war, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I think it would be more by accident than design, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you very much indeed, Kate.
Thank you.
Great to have you with us. Well, we hope peace wins out all the way over there in South America. That's all we've got time for this week, so we'll have to join you again in 7 days and carry on where we're leaving off. Don't miss it. Frost Over the World, same time next week. Bye-bye for now.